No real big footage stories this week. This is Two Loose Cannons. I'm Liam.
I'm Ross. Well, what do you want to start? I heard the under-23 women's national soccer team won the Asian Cup, so maybe we start there.
Yeah, well done to them.
Have you got anything else you want to start with? Maybe
Crows big Collingwood, I hope.
Or maybe just. How about we start with the biggest story?
Yeah.
I can go on around.
No more stuffing about.
Yeah, get it.
But let's not do an AFL and stuff about.
Yeah,
because happened Saturday night. They knew about it Sunday, and here we are Wednesday night. Yeah. So this is a special edition,
and we're
Rankine edition.
Yeah, Rankine edition.
The Rankine finals.
Look, where to start here? Do you want me to just go with my thoughts, or you want to actually put your case across and then I'll smash it? So what do you feel?
Well, we had a very interesting conversation off air.
Yeah, it was very structured.
So yeah, maybe we'll start that way. I'll say what I want. You can shoot it down because I'm off the bias perspective.
Yeah.
It's a player that from the team I support that's involved. What I will say is, yes, it was wrong for him to say that F word. He will get punished for it. I just don't understand the talk around the nonsense around why the Crows can't defend and try to get the punishment down. Now, yes, the AFL we spoke about this earlier.
Yep.
Say that they're going to punish this strongly moving forward, and that suggested, without them actually saying 5 weeks. But reading between the lines, it suggested that there wasn't going to be anything less than 5, given if someone's going to use a homophobic term. A homophobic term has been used. Doesn't matter around the circumstances. But what I will say is the Crows have the right to defend. They have the right to put out there that they don't want him missing for 5 games. And they'll do everything they can to sell the hypocrisy that the AFL is. And they're highlighting some excellent points. Now, you're of a different opinion. You don't think that that should come into it because
I think that was noise. Yep.
Yeah. But when you talk about, and I know you're not big on this, Snoop Dogg being hired for the AFL Grand Final, $2 million for a gig on the biggest showcase. And anybody that knows Snoop Dogg, if you don't know Snoop Dogg, he uses homophobic language. He's misogynist. 2 big things that the AFL are against and have been against for a long time.
Absolutely.
So what are we doing hiring someone like that for our AFL Grand Final in September?
Yeah.
This has come up at the worst possible time for the AFL. The AFL have obviously assigned him to the opening of the Grand Final. And now we've got a AFL player who is a key centerpiece to what the Crows are doing.
Yep.
We'll get into whether he is or he isn't, but this is not what the AFL wanted. One of their absolute marquee players.
No.
Now, you've got a club like Collingwood who are sponsored by Emirates, and Emirates are Arabic and against homophobia. They're the club that has come forward and said that Dr. Rankine.
Yeah.
And look, again, there's nothing wrong with them dobbing him in. He said the wrong word. Now, I'm 100% agree that he should be punished and he will get his lick. I'm hopeful that it's going to be 3. It's probably going to be 5. But I see nothing wrong with the Crows case. You have old mate Jared Waitley on AFL 360 tonight. He's upset that the Crows are, pushing back. Now, I don't know, because AFL is, Jared Waitley is an AFL mouthpiece.
Yep.
And they're passing down. That's the other thing. I'll get to that in a minute. But the way the AFL is feeding Waitley, then they're not happy. But the way the AFL is handling it in terms of sending a letter to the club, keeping it out of the media, just get on with it. Hand down the 5 weeks.
We're not.
Cops of innocent.
We're not.
Because what they're doing is they're leaking it out to Eddie McGuire, which I'm really pissed off about. Now, imagine leaking it out to someone who's still connected with Collingwood.
So, we'll say leaking it out.
All right. Let's say. Let me ask you. All right. So, Port's involved.
Yeah.
And let's say it was Crows were the other team that was playing.
Yep.
And they handed the information, leaked out the punishment to one of your players, to Mark Rashudo to reveal it.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that?
Well, of course, I'd be filthy. I'd be absolutely filthy. You know.
But them leaking it out, they're getting the headlines now. You're getting the right-wing media coming out saying this is bullshit. He shouldn't be missing games when you've got Snoop Dogg. If they think that leaking it out bit by bit is going to get that storm out of the way, I can guarantee you that storm's coming back when they eventually get to it. So just get to it. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So let me get Snoop Dogg out of the way. Whoever hired him, whoever decided to get him, should be sacked. And I mean sacked. I don't mean punished. I don't mean sanctioned. I don't mean spoken to. I mean sacked. Because of all the points you made about what the AFL is supposed to stand for and this. So that's just absolutely ridiculous, okay, to even have that bloke at the AFL Grand Final. My second point is, where was this when it was announced? There was not a peep of anybody coming out and saying, hang on, Snoop Dogg's a misogynist. He's a homophobic.
It wasn't.
Why? No, there wasn't. Not like this.
No,
everybody's on it. Oh,
everybody's
how can
on
you
it.
do this? Hypocrisy. No one gave a stuff when they announced it. A few people went, oh, really? Snoop Dogg?
I think Andrew Bolt.
Yeah, a couple did. Of course they did, because they knew.
But it was out there.
But no one cared. And all of a sudden we have the Rankine thing, and now it's all hypocrisy.
Yeah, what I don't like is the people that were against.
If they had come out and said that originally, I'd be absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. It's an afterthought. And cross that off, because that's a different matter altogether. All right? The situation on field is, now he comes forward, he says what he says because he's provoked. That is the cause and effect. Okay? He's provoked. He says the word. Now, if he had smacked Houston on the jaw and broken his jaw or popped a tooth or split his eyebrow open, or
probably would have got the same.
A nice little mouse out the eye, I guarantee you every single ex-footballer would have said, you need to keep your emotions in check, son. You can't be doing that on the football field. All right? Now, I can tell you from speaking to people who have been physically and emotionally abused, and the one thing they always say, and they've done studies on this, it's the emotional stuff that stays with you, not the physical stuff. Physical stuff heals. It's the words that stay with you the longest. You front up to a person who's lost their child, a family member, friends, who've seen people go through this because of words, and tell me words don't matter. Tell me, oh, it's just a word. What a crock of crap. People are ending their lives over words. Get over it. Okay? He did it. Now, as far as the sanction goes, is 5 too much? We spoke about this early in the year. We said the next person to do this is gonna cop it. Correct. We knew that. We knew that going in. So when this actually happened, we spoke. And you said, I said to you, or you said to me, what do you think? What do you think you'll get? And I said, if the AFL's serious, they have to give him 5 to ensure 0 finals. He can't even come back for the grand final. That's where I thought they would sit. Because 5 gets you, if you lose that first game and you get all the way through, means your season's over.
But do we really think if he gets 5, this is going to stop it?
No. But the problem is now people think about it. Now, the thing with what happened was it's heat of the moment. You're never going to stop heat of the moment. You can stop the stuff where someone's thinking about it. Because someone goes out there, like Houston walks up to him and says to him, whatever he said to him about, like I knocked you out last year, I'm going to do that again tonight. Whatever he said to him, that's thought about. That's actually gone up and made a threat.
Yeah.
Now, some bloke did that in the car park at the MCG towards Goodwin. There was huge uproar. Houston's just walked up to Rankine and told him he's going to knock him out again. And yet we have nothing, not even a sanction over it. Start, if you're serious about this and you want to stop the provocation you need to be serious about getting to the guys who make the threat in the first place. Yeah. So Houston should be looking at a sanction, whether it's a 1 or 2 game. Still Sidebottom ran at him and feigned that he was going to elbow him, and Rankine went down like a ton of bricks. Like he just collapsed because he didn't want the physical contact. It looked ridiculous. So if you are absolutely serious about the cause and effect, you need to stop the cause. And the way you stop the cause is either a big fine, and I'm not talking $1,500 here. I'm talking 15, 20, 30,000 to say you cannot threaten a bloke. You can't say you're going to walk up to him and knock him out. And then you give Rankine whatever. Now, Eddie Maguire turned around and said, hey, hit him with 100,000 in 2 games. I don't mind that.
Yeah,
that's significant. 100 grand.
I think we're talking Rankine, when he come to the Crows, was on about 800, 850.
So he could be upwards of $1 million. But if you took 10% of my wage away, I'd be like,
That would be more than 10% because 10% he would have to be on $1 million. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So you're looking at over 10%, whether that's 11 or whether it's just under 11.
Yep.
Someone out there will do the math for us. But still, that's significant, man.
Yeah, because you're missing the game aspect.
That's
Two
right.
games.
Two
Again.
games, and you don't get paid for those 2 games, by the way. You miss those 2 games on suspension.
Match pay.
You don't get the match payments, and you're forking out $100,000. So I don't mind that at all either.
Yeah,
that appeases everyone. That allows him to serve his suspension. It hits him in the hip pocket. It means even if you lose that first week, it means he can get back and he can play.
One of the things we spoke about off camera was the optics, and again, that's what I was alluding to when I went on that highly spaced ramble then before. Is how would that look now that they've gone 5 and now they're going to 100,000? Is that going to appease people?
This is the other point. You're going to have people who sponsor the AFL who are.
But the way you put that, then you're not happy with losing 10% of your wage to be fined.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't those people not be happy?
Because it looks like they back down. So you're going to have groups.
But the AFL could, again, it's all about the spinning of it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
The AFL could spin, 5 weeks didn't work. We could roll this out, 100,000 and 2 weeks, because 2 weeks you still miss a final.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big punishment.
Yeah.
And it could be the difference between the Crows going through to home prelim or playing a semi-final.
That's true. So look, I don't see the AFL.
No, I don't see that happening either.
They've set the 5. They've gone to the Crows. They sent a letter. They've basically said, we want you to appeal. We want you to go to the appeals board, and we want the appeals board to sort this out. Because if there's a group coming at us, whether it's the LBGT plus group, Q plus groups, or whether it's other groups that are out there, if there's a sponsor who believes in those rights, and we all should, by the way, not just the sponsors, and they turn around and go to the AFL or the Crows because they appealed it and say, if you do this, we're pulling our sponsorship, we're pulling our support for you, we're taking down our rainbow banners, we're doing this, we're doing that, and it's going to look, optically, it's going to look bad for the AFL or the Crows.
See, I don't think
they may take pause.
The AFL doesn't understand what they've done by opening up this can of worms, because where does it start and where does it finish?
I'd take a step back and say Collingwood doesn't understand what they've done to open up this can of worms.
Well, true, because they're the ones with a major sponsor that has
so now people dig deeper.
Beliefs. And
so you said about Snoop Dogg, then someone goes, well, hang on, Emirates. What about Emirates?
Yeah.
They're owned by Saudi Arabia, and it doesn't Saudi Arabia actually execute people who are homosexual.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So now they've got a sponsor who's been put on the chopping board. But this will blow over. No, I guarantee you, this will blow over. No, Collingwood won't have to worry about getting rid of Emirates. All right, from that perspective, Snoop Dogg will still perform on grand final day. He won't utter any words that'll be in any way controversial, as much as people want him to, because they want to come at the AFL and go, look at this, look what he did. He called this someone, use the N word, use the B word.
He's contractually tied.
Look, it's a mess, and they make the mess. But then if you believe the reports, he did this now, I don't know if you want to quantify what several years ago. Does that mean his first year at the Crows, or does that mean when he was at Gold Coast? Apparently he used the same slur towards a different Collingwood player.
Okay.
So this isn't the first time, and the report was that the Collingwood players were basically saying, well, you got away with it the first time, but you're not getting away with it the second time.
It's just conveniently timed, though, isn't it? That chances are they're going to come up against each other.
And you know what? That's the thing that I thought. I thought they've gone at him. They've tried to get him off this game. That way they know if we come up against these guys in the next game, we can get to him.
Again, there's a lot of rumours, but apparently Quaynor actually come up and laughed after he said that word. So, it was almost like we got you sort of thing.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. And you know what? That was probably the end game. They probably didn't expect him to say, well, maybe they did, given that the fact he's got history.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to quantify what several years is, but to me, that's more than 2, obviously, because several is that 4, 5, 6, 7, 10.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then how much does this open up a can of worms that maybe might go for 10?
Well,
heaven forbid.
Look, again, like you said, how do you stamp it out?
Yeah.
Maybe the real answer is hit him in the hip pocket. Maybe that is the answer. Maybe the suspensions kind of work.
Because
But again, it's a spur of the moment thing. I don't think you're ever going to get rid of it, because at that time you're in the either fight or flight. Your mind's in that fight or flight.
But this is what it's all about. It's about trying to get us to demonize that word, so that if something you do hit that red mist, you come up with something else other than derogatory.
So what else do you come up with than that? Because
hey, slow.
If you go up using that word like I did, okay, let's be honest, that was part of my vocabulary growing up, and I grew up in the 70s and 80s. Okay, so it was not uncommon, and no one blinked an eye when you said it, by the way. So, but I know now I can't say it. I do, but
look, I don't know. So it sounds like when you sledged, you used words that were derogatory towards.
Of course you did, but I was copying it too. It wasn't like I was, I wasn't copying it back. So of course we always
look. When I grew up, again, that word was used.
We went back and forth. Yeah,
and again, we're talking 90s, so it's still not that long ago. What, 30 years? But I never once went back at someone in regards derogatory.
Yeah.
What I would go back about them is like, because playing cricket and that, about their game. I would talk about their game.
Yeah.
And I find that guy under their skin more than, name calling.
Look, I can remember once I was, about 19, I reckon 18, 19. And I was fullback. I played fullback. And the guy kicked a goal at me, and of course he gave it to me. And I went, oh yeah. I said, why don't you go kiss your boyfriend on the lips? And he went off. Then were fists thrown just for me saying to him, why don't you go kiss your boyfriend on the lips? So I knew I had him. Straight away, I knew I had him.
Yeah.
All I had to do was go at him with a few more homophobic slurs. And you could just tell he was horrified at the fact that I thought he'd be kissing his mate. And we spoke about this with Horn Francis and Butters and all these guys whose skin you can get under.
Yeah.
The Reeds and, players know if they push that button, mate, there's a free kick, or they can get you in trouble, or they can get you suspended, or they can get you fined. And they laugh. And like you said, Quaynor just laughs at him going, we got you.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you're playing a very competitive sport. And part of that competition is, can I get you off your game and can I get you to crack?
Yeah. So I think we spoke about earlier in the season, was it too much, the suspension that Graham and the likes?
Well, I thought my point with Finlayson, he said it.
Yeah.
So you cop that.
But 3 weeks, 3 weeks for him felt right.
But back then, you had Clarko who
he got nothing.
He got $20,000 fine, which was where that uproar came from, because he was a coach who used even worse language. Let's face it, what he said in calling him a sea sucker, right, was worse than. Well, I won't say it's worse. That's the wrong word. But I said to you at the time, Finlayson was apologetic straight away. He said the word and then went to the player, said, hey, dude, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have done that. Then he went and self-reported. He went to the sideline and self-reported. So everything was done within that 90 seconds of him uttering the word. The person he uttered it to got an apology, and he went straight to the bench and reported himself. And he copped 3.
Yep.
So, and then the uproar was, well, how does he cop 3? And Clarko, who used similar language, gets a fine. Yeah. So, because there was a lot of talk about whether or not they were just going to fine Finlayson because of what they did with Clarko. But anyway, that's diverting from Rankine.
Yeah. So, but we're talking about here now around, because I want to turn it into a thing of, is it too much for using one word when you've got concussion and you've got head knocks that, you've got old mate going out for 1 week for a push that ended up hurting his teammate, Dylan Shield.
Yeah.
And last week you've got
Walker.
Duncan taken out.
Yeah.
Thilthorpe. 3 weeks for the action, which there was no other action other than he wanted to kill Thilthorpe.
Well, I don't know if he wanted to kill.
Take him out.
Nothing. Look, they obviously rate things higher, and the way I heard it explained today was that, let's use the Ollie Wine incident, okay? So the bump, he gets 3 weeks for a bump that's shoulder to shoulder, and because of the whiplash effect. Now, from what I hear, the player, Lord, I think it was, plays on for an hour. I don't know if that's correct, whether it was a full hour or whether it was just part off because there was half time in between or whatever.
End up with delayed concussion.
Ends up with delayed concussion, Wines cops 3. Okay. We have a similar incident where someone pops out the shoulder, nothing to see here. But he's going to have to now go for a shoulder reco. Same action, by the way. Right? One is not facing a U-ending injury, whereas the other player is. But the AFL is being sued for concussion and head injury. So that obviously they when it comes to the hierarchy, that's their priority. But then they hurt themselves by having incidents where they let the other guy off because it's a footy action. We just get this so many mixed messages. Either the head was sacrosanct and then it wasn't, and then it wasn't. It's
so it sounds like
an unavoidable action.
And you had the week before against West Coast. They went in for a spoil and just touched.
Yeah, and touched.
Again, he didn't go into HIA protocols.
No.
What the hell was that? Yeah. Inconsistencies.
Yep. You had Dave Cost getting punched in the stomach, getting a free kick, and Smith getting a fire. Then you have your old mate Tex tunneling, or not tunneling, sorry, pushing Maynard into Fogarty, which tunnels him, and he ends up flat on his back, gets up gasping because he's winded, and nothing to see here.
And then you got Rankine staging, gets fined for staging, and then old mate Dacos for that punch in the gut that he's still feeling.
Went down like a sack of studs, but
that he got nothing.
I don't know if you haven't been punched in the solar plexus. It can take your breath away, buddy. Whether you go down, I probably bend over. The last time I got smacked there, I bent over. I didn't go down, but look,
come on.
But you milked the fruit. Yeah. You know that. You played the game,
mate. Yeah. And that's what Izak Rankine did, and that's what also Dacos did. But why different? Why any different? Because as far as I'm concerned, there wasn't much in that at all.
Yeah. Look, we know why. Because one's going to be, in fact, they're both going to be megastars of the league. But one plays for the biggest club, if you listen to them, in the world. By the way, they talk about themselves, and the other one's an interstate club that the AFL really doesn't want to see us succeed.
Collingwood, the real black and white team of Australia?
No. That's
someone else saying that?
That's someone else.
Yeah. Well,
let's not go there, please. Well, determined to get hate mail, aren't we?
Yeah, no, I want to poke bear tonight.
Yeah. So look, when it all comes down to is we shake our heads and we just go, how is that even possible? Like all the commentary, and I mean every single bit of it points to that Wines never should have been 3 weeks. Never.
Yeah.
But it's a fear by the AFL, we're going to get sued. We have to show that we're doing something about it. No, you just have to follow the rules of the game. If you don't want the bump in the game, get rid of it. Legislate it out. Just make it simple. But don't have something that can cause that much damage in the game and allow it to just say, oh, you got to do it properly. Because in my opinion, he did it properly. There was no high contact. So why are we bothering even keeping it in the game? Just say if you bump, doesn't matter what happens, it's a free kick. And if someone's injured, you're looking at a minimum 3 and it could escalate to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well,
that's how you approach it.
I thought Swan, who's now in the job, would be tackling some of this and trialing some things.
He will.
It sounds like he's got his focus set on the finals. So, having the arc around the boundary line. But clearly, match review is stuffed.
It is. It is absolutely stuffed. Yeah, I agree with you. Look, I just don't get the contact sport.
Fixing that now before the finals, though. Why not?
I know. But look, there's probably a lot of things he needs to fix.
Oh, there is.
He's got to prioritise, and you can't fix everything at once. So,
but this is something that's imminent, something that's coming. So get it right now, so the finals aren't affected.
Does he do some of this stuff on the run too? So as it happens, he sort of turns around and goes, "Well, look, we need to fix this. Let's have a chat.
So I thought that because there was talk that he was going to be handling the Rankine situation. No, hasn't worried about that.
I don't. Yeah, I think there's too many hands in that pie at the moment. So it's just sort of whether they need him to concentrate on that, whether they just need him to just do some other stuff. The Rankine one, like you said, I thought that was simple. You said it. Let's hand down a penalty.
Be done. Yeah, should.
Let's just hand down a penalty, and if the Crows want to appeal it, then appeal.
Given that they knew about this on Sunday, and they would have investigated Monday.
Well, they knew about it Saturday night.
So. Yeah, I thought that Monday afternoon, 5:00, that's the usual spot they love to drop when
Yep.
all the drive shows are on.
Yep.
Nothing. And then Tuesday comes
Tuesday,
around. It's definitely Tuesday, nothing.
All we heard about Tuesday was the letter.
Yeah. And now today, expecting an announcement today, no.
Well, I guess what they're going to do now is they're just going to wait for Adelaide to go, yeah, we'll accept it, or they're going to wait for Adelaide to go, we're not accepting this, we're going to appeal it. And then that'll be the next step. I don't think officially they will come out and say, we gave him 5. I think the next word that'll get added will be from the Adelaide Football Club that'll say we've either accepted it or we will be backing our player in and we will be appealing this. And to me, that's dangerous because what do you argue here? Because if you want to legislate this type of thing out of the game, you can't go in there and go, well, it's just a word. You can't. And then if you start saying, well, he was provoked, you open a huge door for the next bloke to say, who uses either a homophobic or a racial slur, to say, well, I was provoked.
Yeah.
Now, you've played enough footy in your day. You know words get thrown away. So I was provoked could be something as simple as, you stand in front of me, mate, I'm going to put my knee through the back of your head.
Yeah.
Which used to get said on the field all the time.
Yep.
You know, so what is provoked? So again,
Well, I mean, there's been all sorts of things, and it's so hard to comb through what's bullshit, what's not. But when you supposedly families were mentioned, girlfriends were mentioned.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and look, and again, why don't we broaden it then and say you mentioned children, wives, girlfriends, mothers, fathers, family members.
Very rarely do the instigators ever get get punished.
It's always the person who we know that. We know that from we see it on field. One guy punches another guy, and the guy who does it second always gets the free kick played against them. So the retaliator, that's the word I'm looking for. The retaliator is always the one who cops it. So we have another incident here this just wasn't one player. This wasn't just Houston. This was multiple. If you believe the reports, this was multiple players. So I asked you, where were his teammates then? Because it seems like a few of them knew. Fogarty said he heard some of the stuff that was going on. Yeah. So obviously they're all standing around and going, well, this is just a normal game. They're just throwing away,
Well, Rankin cops it every week from what I've heard.
So, that's the thing though. Don't come out now and tell me, oh, he was provoked. If you heard it, and Fogarty said he heard some of the stuff that was said from multiple, and these are his words, from multiple Collingwood's players. And yeah, he didn't do a thing to help Rankin out or defend him or go over and smack someone or tell him to back off.
How do you know they didn't? I wasn't there, so I didn't see. So
because apparently he just said he heard it.
Yeah,
and nothing to see here. He basically
come out and say, I drove my elbow into him
because he didn't do that though. There was none of that happening.
How do you know? He's sitting in the forward pocket of the car.
No one came to his aid.
Adelaide,
no one. No, not a
single person
came to his aid.
Half this stuff happened off camera.
Because if he had done that, he would have said, I went over and I had a word to a couple.
He's not going to come out and say that.
Well, he don't say you thumped him, but you can't tell me in all honesty he stepped in.
Because I can tell you, Fogg would be the type that steps in. He's the leader.
I can say, not 100%, but I can virtually say to this, no one helped him out. No one.
You can't say that unless you're there.
Because there was nothing done.
You can't.
Because we would have vision of it. Remember, they have cameras everywhere. If someone had stepped in...
It was gobbing off all
If someone had stepped in to protect Rankin, we would have vision of it. Just like we did with side bottom running past Rankin and Rankin drop it to the ground like a sack of spuds.
That was funny. So why wouldn't that go down?
Don't tell me someone came to his aid because we would have vision of it by now. Had they
were gobbing off all match. It was a hot contested game. Yeah. You can't just highlight what vision is that going to do with people going?
Yeah, but I'm talking about coming to his aid. I'm talking about pushing guys away, saying to guys, like actually getting physical with him, saying, "No, you speak to him like that, and I'm going to put my knee through the back of your head."
But maybe that.
The next time I'm coming for that part,
now he said things. He heard things. Things could have been said at any stage. But did he actually?
He said
what was said.
His report to the investigators was he heard multiple Collingwood players saying things to Rankin.
Yeah,
and he told them what they said. So obviously he heard it. and yet he did nothing about it.
But
Because why?
why
They're
did you
just
just say, "Oh, I
words.
said this back to the Collingwood players to stop"?
But it's not about the words. I'm saying about no one came to his aid. No one pushed these Collingwood players away from him. No one did anything to. It didn't look like anybody did anything to support Rankin while they were giving it to him. So
What do you want him to do? Pull out the kendo sticks and steel chairs?
go over and maybe shield Rankin, put him away. Say, come on, mate, come over here.
But then,
Come stand next to me. And if they've got the balls to come stand next to me,
okay, but
I
then
will give him
now
one
you're
of the
talking
ribs.
under 12 shit where your dad comes onto the field and does that.
Dad don't come on the field. Dad didn't have to come onto the field.
Is that a personal experience, is it?
Trust me.
It sounds like a personal experience there.
Dad never had to step onto the field. There's no point.
All right.
So
What was I going to say? I'm going to get you rolled up now
go on.
because we need to close this. We could talk another 40
Of course we
minutes
do.
about
And
this.
we have spoken for half an hour about it.
All right, so let's piss you off.
Yeah, why not?
What does minus 40 mean to you?
Well, that was the halftime contested ball against Carlton. That was disgraceful. And that's when I turned the TV off.
Yeah. So those that don't know, we're talking about Port being minus 40 at halftime
Contested.
contested against Carlton.
Yeah.
How does that happen? Because that's
That's
not
just-
talent. That's
just our team who switched off.
yeah.
And I looked at that team, and I've often said to you, I can tell how we're going to play by looking at the bench. And if I see that it's the bench, and I think, gee, these guys aren't going to contribute a lot, I know it's
But that's fine. But they
game.
can contribute.
I looked at that team, and I could see more than the bench, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh boy, that's not going to be good. This is not going to be a good game.
Yeah, and I understand that. So
This is a team that's given up.
the one thing you can do is
a team that's given
dip
up.
in.
I'm
That's
sorry,
the
mate.
one thing you can do.
No, not when you've given up, and they have given up.
Yeah.
Now, whether that's because everybody's going to put everything into this last game, I don't know. I don't know whether they didn't expect Carlton to come out as hot as they did. All right. I don't know what the mindset was. I don't know. I thought the week before they played for Pokey and Ken and tried to win that game against Freo, they were, unlucky. We spoke about the short kick for the mark. But when I looked at that team, I thought we're in trouble, and I thought this is a 5-goal loss, 5 to 7 goal loss. So
Let me ask you: do you have a playing in Victoria problem? Because you got
No,
belted
because-
against Collingwood by 90, you got belted in
I
Ballarat,
think we do.
and you got
No.
belted against Carlton.
But
Yes,
yes,
we played.
look at our history at Marvel. I mean, we're like, I don't know, something like 11 of the last 13 games.
Yeah, but this year, you've gone to Melbourne 3
teams-
teams pumped by 10
teams have bad years going into state. I mean,
Come on, I'm trying to get.
it means nothing.
Give me
You're not going to get me rolled up because I've totally switched off. I'm not engaged. There's one game left. That's the only game I'm matter about now. I want to see them go out there, and I want to see a similar performance as what they put in against Freo, except for that first quarter.
So then it must really piss you off to hear Ken say that he can't wait for it to be over.
Look, we can't, and I would have fired back to Ken. You know what, mate? We can't wait for it to be
So
over.
then if he's saying shit like that, why didn't he step away?
Yeah.
Has he been forced?
Well, I think again we spoke about this, and I think he's shielding Carr because he saw no point, and he said he saw no point in leaving early because he saw that Carr would cop it. So whether or not he saw the writing on the wall, but again, I say to you, I looked at the injury list. There's 15 guys on that injury list, and 12 of those guys I'd have in my 22. Now I challenge you to find any team that you can take 12 guys out of the best 22 and still perform.
yeah, no.
Now, that's not an excuse because what you're talking about with contested possession
Yeah, that's not.
is effort. It's got nothing
Getting
to do
belted
with...
by 10 goals is fine as long as you're putting in the effort.
That's right. As long as
Because
you...
sometimes that could
It's
just
a-
be a lack of
Now, they did.
class.
And this is the thing that pisses me off the most. They did the week before. And part of me was just thinking, if you can just get through the Carlton and the Gold Coast game and we can see that there's something there, then I think the fans walk away from the year thinking that was absolute debacle. But at least we saw something towards the end.
Yeah.
We saw some fight. But then that Carlton game rolls around but then Kent sides have done this anyway. This isn't new. This isn't something that...
No, that's the roller coaster.
That's right. That's it. Absolutely. You know,
And-
the smashing against Collingwood, the smashing against you guys, the fade outs in the second halves and last quarters, games like that against Carlton, who were below us at the time, stuff like that. Then you get 8-goal effort against Freo. You get, games that you shouldn't have won against Hawthorn. There's all these things, and you just think, like you said, roller coaster. So,
And he's the sort of coach that you could get belted by 10 goals and then end up with a stirring victory the week after.
that's right.
And it's his last week.
It's his last week
Against the Gold Coast, who don't play well here.
They don't play well here, and but at the end of it all, if they end up getting belted, it's not going to be the end of the
No, season's over already, so
it's season over. It's re-rolling.
But you want to send out Boki.
Of course you do, and that's the one thing I'd love to see him do. I don't care about Ken because I've said to you many times, Ken stayed 2-3 years too long, in my opinion. And I love the bloke. Don't get me wrong, and he saved us. We were on our knees, and he came in and he saved us, and he made us relevant. But you just can't have so many years of this up and down, and then you hit finals and you can't do a bloody thing during finals. They asked him at a I don't know if you saw the press conference. One of the reporters asked him, "What do you want to be remembered for?" And I said, "What do you think you'll be remembered for?" That's right. And he said,
finals.
No, he said exactly. Well, he pretty much said that, not making a grand final and not winning.
Well, see, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said not making a grand final and not winning one. So he knows, no matter how many games he won in the home and away, his coaching career here at Port has just been a failure. Because we don't judge it by wins and losses.
I did hear the quote, and again, it was only on like a news bulletin, so you don't hear much. Mm-hmm. But the snippet that come out was that he's made Port Adelaide proud and a strong club.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did stabilise.
Yes. But he did, you know what? He also drove a lot of fans away.
Yeah.
I have friends, I know of people, I've spoken to enough supporters because of things like gather round and finals and things like that, where we don't get to sit in the area that we normally do during the year, and you get to mingle with other, supporters. Yeah. I've heard stories from families who've said that they've got siblings or they've got sons and daughters who will not return to the club until Ken's gone. So there's that facet of it. There's the disgruntled supporter who were really hard on him and thought he should have gone 7-8 years ago, not just recently. They think that they should have turfed him out a long time ago. And then there's those who love him and don't want to see him go because they think that he's the best coach.
So do you think there's a place for me at Port home games handing out Crows membership brochures then?
I think you'd get more. Did you see the vision of what it looked like, that causeway underneath the grandstands in your game against Collingwood?
Yeah.
You saw what you'd be in the middle of that, and that's what you'd have. 20,000 supporters coming at you.
Well, then I better make sure I bring 20,000 brochures.
With wooden spoons and forks, because that's all they'd be able to get their hands on, because that's all the Adelaide Oval has is the wooden stuff. No knives, by the way. Just spoons and forks. That's all you'd have.
But isn't it pureed food?
More power to you, buddy.
Yeah.
You go. That's like saying that. You go.
I'm not getting that effort out of you tonight, am I?
Fuck's sake, move
on. All right, well, diabolical numbers to more tackle. We'll just quickly touch this.
Yeah, go on.
Sheasel 54 possessions against Tigers on the weekend.
Yeah.
38 uncontested, so I think that tops you at -40.
Well, that's, I tip, I don't know whoever else tipped. I tip Richmond. I don't know who you tip. I thought Richmond after that win.
Didn't tip anybody. I haven't done tipping this week.
Okay. Well, they had that great game the week before, and I just expected them just to rout. They're now second to bottom now, Richmond. I didn't even realise that. Because North Melbourne's draw with Brisbane puts them 2 points ahead of them.
Costly loss for North.
Yeah, well, that's it. They drop a spot or go up a spot. They lose that, whatever it's going to be, third or fourth pick.
And Tigers play Geelong this week, so they ain't.
Yeah, not winning that.
No.
Not unless Geelong rest 15 of their players. They're not winning that.
No. All right, so Carlton, Essendon this Thursday night. If you ain't got free to air, this is staggering to say. You won't see it.
You won't see it. And
what the hell?
Yeah. Channel 7 are going to play home and away, and they're going to play Clarkson's Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But good news for anybody, of all you home and away fans, there's going to be 3 episodes home and away. Not just
now, what were you saying about someone leaving?
Irene's leaving. Sad times. Oh, she's gone.
She's gone, is she?
She went Tuesday night, apparently.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, she's gone.
There's no point putting it in then, isn't it?
My question to you is, why is Essendon Carlton playing the Thursday when Gold Coast look like they'll probably be playing finals, have to back up the following Wednesday against Essendon, play Port at Adelaide Oval.
Yeah.
Why isn't the Port and Gold Coast game on the Thursday?
And I'll give you the answer you gave me, because I think you hit the nail on the head. So, Port fans prefer to turn up on a Friday night, and fair enough.
Yep.
So, and look, I don't blame you guys for that. But it does hurt Gold Coast, doesn't it? So
it does hurt Gold Coast, and you know what? They're on a knife's edge, to be honest with you, because I'm hoping that's going to be a very emotional game for Boki and Ken, and that the boys might actually come out and perform. And they lose that game, they have to front up against Essendon on a Wednesday night with one less day
at Marvel.
Yeah. We were talking a week or two ago about who's likely to miss the 8, and Gold Coast weren't even in our reckoning then. But then they have that absolute debacle against GWS, and that puts them in so much danger now.
Yeah,
I saw there was something on Facebook today I had a look at, and it had where your team might finish. You can finish first or second. That's it. Every other team could finish either, and they had it ranging. So Geelong, Brisbane, Collingwood could finish anywhere between second,
first for
or Geelong for first, and seventh.
Yep.
Collingwood could finish anywhere between second and ninth, and then the rest below that were all either fourth and fifths and sixths and sevenths and ninth. So there was about 5 teams that could still finish ninth. So this is going to be, and those games that we thought maybe were going to be worth anything on that Sunday now come back into play because of that one game, possibly, that Gold Coast and GWS.
Well, that's about the only thing the AFL's got right this year is the Sunday fixture, hasn't it?
Yeah, so, I mean, look, we're in for a huge, huge finish here. And it'd be so interesting to see just what's going to happen, honestly. Make sure you got either Foxtel or KO if you want to watch Carlton Essendon.
Yeah, take a picture of that. Get yourself a screenshot, because this will never happen again. This is the sort of fixture that Channel 7 clamours over when the draw is released. And here they are saying, no, we don't want you.
We don't want you.
Yeah. Because you suck.
Yeah.
Leave footy there?
Yeah, leave footy there. Let's move on to something more positive, like the Boomers winning.
Yeah, well, we started with trophies, the show, and now we're on to trophies again.
Yeah.
Boomers won the Asian Cup.
Yep.
Beating China 91 to 90.
91 to 90, yep. And guess who popped their heads up and said, we don't belong in Asia?
Oh, that wouldn't be the Philippines, would it?
Yeah, our nemesis, the Philippines.
Well,
we believe we have a biological advantage. Well, so that means we're bigger, we're stronger, we're fitter, we're better, basically.
So what I would say to that is, if we're bigger, stronger, and better, and all this sort of shit, why are they coming at us with fists and fly kicks on the court? I can never understand that. You know, this is a basketball mad country. The NBA is everything to them. You see online, basketball to the Philippines is like cricket to India, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's they treat players like gods. Yeah.
It's massive.
You know, they went out and got Clarkson, the player Clarkson, to naturalize and play for their
national team.
And look, I think he does have a bit of Filipino in him.
Yeah.
But they went and got him.
Yeah.
They love their basketball.
Yeah, they do.
Get better. That's not anything.
Forget about the fact that China has a farm where they take these kids who are 12 and they're 7 foot tall, and they put them into these basketball
concentration camps,
basically, from young ages, and they just drill them and drill them and drill them and drill them, and yet, what have they developed? Have they taken over the world in any way? How many players
come through?
Yeah, exactly. How many?
Here comes the new basketball superpower.
Yeah, that's right. How many players have actually played in the NBA? We've probably got more players in the NBA than China have, and they've got this farming system where they're just grabbing kids from young ages and just constantly
But it's the same as
train.
There's just something not right with how they train. That's the only thing I can think of is maybe because Remember they went through that whole phase of recruiting Brazilian coaches and whatnot to try and get their academies up and going, and it hasn't worked. So maybe just, I don't want to say it, but maybe they're right. Maybe genetics.
Maybe.
Does play a part.
But you think of a country that's well over 1 billion people, you could find 12 genuine superstar basketballers who could just, rocket you to, if not number 1, 2 or 3 in the world. I don't think they've ever been anything other than a high, maybe 9 or 10 to a low team. So I don't think they've ever really set it on fire. So,
their strongest phase was when they had Yao Ming.
That's right.
There's not a hell of a lot you can do with just one player on a team.
Keep trying, China.
Well, this was about the Philippines. What are we doing?
Well, I don't know.
Potting. Well, no, wasn't it for making the final?
I wasn't potting.
I welcome our new Chinese overlords as well.
Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you for watching.
So we got one more. Actually, we got one more AFL thing to do. They're thinking about introducing the last touch next year.
Oh, this is a Tulu's Cannon's favourite.
Yep.
This is our rule.
We've talked about this.
Yeah. SNFL is the best watch because of this rule.
Yeah.
And when we talk about the grand final, that's the best watch of the year.
Yeah.
And the reluctance for the AFL to adopt it, I wonder if it's just because it's come from our league that,
well,
they don't want to be seen replicating anything.
No, I think I see the benefits of it now. It does take a lot of pressure off the umpires if they don't have to worry about it.
But they're all about having the game flow. The game flows brilliantly.
It does flow a lot.
Stretches the game.
Last touch, yeah, definitely. Now, I did hear that they said that they did a study and they reckon it will only incur 2 extra. They said free kicks. I'm not sure they'd be free kicks, but 2 extra kick-ins from the boundary line, I guess, is what they're saying, which I found just astonishing. So either they're playing a lot of insufficient intents or
ball's just not going out much.
Yeah, exactly. Not by hand or foot. Is that right? Hand or foot?
Yeah.
It has to be by hand or foot.
Yeah. Not just to spill out.
That's right.
Touches hands and then goes out.
So,
so we give a big final on that one.
Absolutely. Finally. Thank you, AFL. Maybe is that a great Swan thing?
Yeah.
Thank you, Swanee.
I think it would be actually. Because no one in the AFL has had balls to even consider it.
Don't care.
It's the other thing that's being talked about coming in is adding a 5th player to the bench. It's not a sub.
It's not a sub. Yeah. I heard that.
Does that mean that 2 ruckmen per team will come back?
I still don't
think so.
No, I think teams like that resting, like the Tilthorpe or that sort of player that you can play up forward, who's a beast up forward, who can then.
But I mean,
from
what I understand, the Crows made the offer to Sam Draper on the basis that the 5th man's coming in, and that's why they re-signed O'Brien, because there was talk that, why'd they re-sign O'Brien? And then,
that was a shock too, because didn't we speak about how he wants to be a surgeon and he can't stay?
Yeah. So he must be offered some good financial terms to stay.
Yeah,
but good on him. I mean, he's done his job.
That's it.
He doesn't look like the best player going, but he gets the job done week in, week out.
Yeah. So look, I mean, I don't know if that means a second Bucks canopy there.
I think club to club it'll be different, and if you have, it depends if a club has big success playing 2 ruckmen, you can start to see copycats, can't you?
Yeah.
But again, is there enough quality ruckmen going around that you could do that?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, look, they have been talking that Vicentini had he not been injured, he would have been the number 1 ruckman at Port. So, I mean, I could see if you got someone like that in your team, that's a natural progression. Someone who's in the 2s, who's starting to come through,
yeah.
And then you have a genuine bloke who's there. Sure, I could see that possibly being, something that could happen.
Yeah.
But no one's going out and looking to buy
specifically for that spot.
If they've got someone on their list, or they'll draft someone in, one or the other, I think, to hear what happens.
I think the Crows have done that. They've shot, like I said, that's the only reason why. Because everyone goes, why are they going Draper when they've just re-signed O'Brien?
Yeah.
It's for that 5th bench spot, and it seems that that's coming to fruition. So that's why I thought I'd mention that 5th spot.
Yeah.
All right. Last shot.
Last shot. Well, you go first, because mine's...
I've gone to Super Sunday. Forget Super Saturday, it's Super Sunday. And I've gone for Brisbane to get the chocolates over the Hawks, the Booze and Louise.
Yep. And I will put my neck on the chopping block. My feeling is that the Crows might sit a few players out to get them ready, cherry ripe for the first final. And looking at the way North played last week, they've got nothing to lose. They're just going to go out and play free and easy, North. And it's not going to matter if they get smashed by 10 goals or... So I think North are a big chance against the Crows if the Crows decide to sit 3 or 4 or 5 of their stars out.
So how many uncontested possessions for Cheezel this week?
Well, I don't think they're going to let Cheezel run off.
No 38?
I think that's fair.
No. Neither do I.
No, if Cheezel walks away with 32 and, I don't know, 16, I think he's had a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah, let's see the show out.
Yeah. So Stephen King has a son named Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, but he is. Thank you, Paul Torber. Good night.